Hi Year 7, I'm going to show you how to make the raspberry jam buns, or jammy buns as we call them. You will need 200 grams of self-raising flour. This is the flour that has a raising agent already included in it. So it's basically plain flour, but it has baking powder in it. This means that the dough will rise up and it will help give it a lighter texture. So that's self-raising flour, 200 grams. 75 grams of soft butter or margarine, 75 grams of caster sugar, 1 egg, and some jam, raspberry jam, but you can use any flavour. I'm using strawberry because that's what I've got in my fridge. You will need about, let me get this right, 6 teaspoons of jam, or 2 tablespoons-ish of jam. I'll explain how we do that later. So in your unit cupboards, you'll have your mixing bowl, the metal bowls. I'm just showing you in a plastic bowl so you can perhaps see a little bit better. So that goes into your big bowl. Into it, you add in your margarine, 75 grams. So that goes into the same bowl. And you're then going to use your fingertips to rub the fat into the flour. So make sure that you've got really clean hands. This is called the rubbing in method. And what is happening here is the fat, the butter, is coating the grains of flour, almost putting a waterproof coating on it. And what you're trying to get is a texture that resembles fine breadcrumbs. So it takes a little bit of time. You just lift the mixture up and rub the fat into the flour. I'm so sorry about my dog. I thought he would settle down, but obviously not. He's too excited by this. He's got into his bed now. Disadvantage of cooking at home. So, recapping then. 200 grams of self-raising flour, 75 grams. I've used a margarine, and you rub it in with your fingertips. Can you see that action? You're lifting and just kind of squeezing the fat between your fingers. You end up with a crummy mixture, and I can show you what that looks like. So it doesn't look too different really to the flour, just a little bit bigger grains. And we call it resembling breadcrumbs. I'm just gonna give my hands a wash, so I'll just pause the video. Okay, so into my mixing bowl goes my sugar now. So the same amount of sugar, 75 grams. Just give it a stir. So it should still look very similar. In your unit cupboard, you'll have a measuring jug. You need to crack the egg into the measuring jug carefully. Try not to get any shell in there. Just check. The shells we can compost, so put those into the compost box in your classroom. Use a table fork, just a normal fork, to beat the egg. Just do that for a short time. You're then going to pour the egg into your mixing bowl. And you're going to start mixing that together, and then you're going to get your hands in and get it to form a dough. I think the dog wonders who I'm talking to. Sorry. Okay. Started to clump together a little bit. Now I'm going in with my clean hands and I'm squeezing it together, and it will form a a stiff dough. You need to kind of get it into a ball. So just knead it gently with your hands until it's all come together and you haven't got any dry bits of flour in the bottom of your bowl. It just takes a little bit of work to get it to do that. Okay, so that's what your dough should look like, and it should be a ball where all the crumbs are incorporated. You would then want to divide it into 12, and the easiest way to do that is use your table knife, cut in half, into quarters, so into 4, and then cut each of those into 3. Then you're going to roll each one into a ball, and then you're going to put them onto your lined baking tray. So in your cupboard, you'll have a baking tray, line it with paper, and just roll into balls and put each one onto the tray. And the best way to do it is to make 4 by 3 on your tray, so they fit nicely. So continue rolling until you've got 12 on your tray. Then what you're going to do is just use your thumb, or the end of a wooden spoon is good, just to make a hole in the middle of the dough. Okay, so it should look like that. You've got to try and get to that point as quickly as you can. So you're making a dimple in the middle of each one. This is where you're going to put your jam. So when I've done that, I'll show you what that looks like. There we go. And you're going to put half a teaspoon of jam into the middle of each one. I'm just going to grab a spoon. So teaspoon, little spoon, half a teaspoon in each. So half a teaspoon in each means that you need how many teaspoons? I'll let you have a little think about that. If I'm doing 12 buns and there's half a teaspoon in each, the answer is 6 teaspoons. So once you've made the hole in the middle of your dough, do that with the end of your thumb, clean thumb, you're going to put in half a teaspoon of jam into each one. So that will mean in total, if you need half a teaspoon in each one, you're going to need 6 teaspoons of jam. 6 teaspoons of jam is equal to 2 tablespoons, because there are 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. There you go. Into the oven, you're going to bake them for 10 to 15 minutes until they're golden brown. They will expand a little bit and rise a little bit, so they will look a little bit bigger when they are cooked. I will show you what they look like when they're done. So here is what they should look like when they've been baked. They are slightly golden brown and they are a little bit bigger than when you put them in. These took 15 minutes to bake. And here's what the jam buns look like inside. You can see they're light and crumbly, and that is a result of the shortening process, where you've rubbed the fat into the flour. You have prevented the gluten from developing. So the dough remains crumbly, very similar to in scones, shortbread and short crust pastry. Keyword there for you, shortening. Shortening. So year 7, I hope that you found that video a little bit helpful, and I look forward to seeing you when you bake with me next time. Bye for now.